Welcome back with us for more details over those issues. We're very delighted to be having with us over the phone the journalist and writer, Mr. Ramzy Khoury. Good afternoon, Mr. Ramzy.
Good afternoon, Dina.
How are you, sir? As we are following up with the latest escalations inside the region, to our knowledge that there is possibly a reconciliation or type of an agreement that is happening between the United States and Iran on conditions that Iran would give up its nuclear activities, and also at the same time this agreement should be signed off by the American President Donald Trump.
Correct, Dina. As usual, and we've seen this happen before, with very clear statements that they're almost done and there may be an agreement coming soon. Then the Iranians come out and say the exact opposite and say there is no agreement. We have not reached an agreement, etc. And this is maybe a bit different in the sense that the Americans are saying the file is with Donald Trump, the American president, and he will make a decision on it, but he is contemplating the decision, which is fascinating in terms of the declarations that have been made that there may be an agreement coming very soon. Donald Trump has to accept. Dina, the problem with all of this is how would Donald Trump explain to his own people that Iran got basically everything it wanted? If we look at the agreement that they are talking about, the agreement is a ceasefire for a certain period of time. And during the ceasefire and immediately upon reaching that agreement, the Hormuz is going to be open, and traffic will flow through Hormuz, and therefore the international problem of the flow of oil and other materials would cease to exist. Then the Americans and Iranians will start negotiating over the American demands that are related to nuclear weapons and all of the other issues. This is exactly what Iran has been demanding. Ceasefire, pretty much a permanent ceasefire. The American troops would have to leave the Hormuz Channel, and then the Iranians are willing to start talking about all other issues. And this is basically what Iran has been asking for, because this is how Iran can actually negotiate over the American demands and be able to get the most out of it.
Right. On the other hand, the United States say that there is a peace deal, or if there is a peace deal possible, that should adhere to the red lines that are set by the United States, and it should be signed off by President Donald Trump. From the other side's perspective or vision, what could be the red lines?
The other side being the Iranians?
The United States, of course.
Oh, the red lines of the United States, the list is very clear in terms of all issues. Obviously, Iran has been always saying that they don't want to have a nuclear weapon. This is what they've done all throughout the way. So there is no change there. That's a red line. That's a major red line. The Americans are saying that they want to ensure that Iran would never have any nuclear weapons. The thing is, that's not the issue. The Americans want the Iranians to hand over the material that has been developed to reach about 60%, and this is very close to weapons grade, and they want the Iranians to hand that over. The Iranians are saying we can dilute it under the monitoring of the international UN agency. In-house, we can dilute it in Iran. The Americans are saying, no, you have to hand it over. The Iranians are saying, if we do have to hand it over, then we want to hand it over to the Russians or the Chinese. The Americans are saying, no, you cannot hand it over to the Russians and Chinese because we don't trust them. And this is all going to be discussed later. And this is the point, Dina. This is what the Iranians wanted. If the siege on Hormuz is lifted by both parties, by both sides, then there is flow of oil coming out of Iran and into Iran. According to the leakage of the content of the agreement, immediately upon the lifting of the siege of Hormuz, the Americans are going to lower sanctions on Iran, and they may even release some of the Iranian money that is being blocked by the United States. And therefore, Iran is a winner in this formula. And this is why maybe Donald Trump is not in a hurry to declare his defeat, because he's going to be accused by the Democratic Party in America and by the American international allies that he was defeated and Iran got everything that they've been demanding. And this is, and basically, and there is no resolution to any of the issues that are pending. And if you remember, Dina, at the beginning, the Americans used to, they were talking about forcing the Iranians to limit their ballistic missile program. That is not even in discussion anymore. The Iranians totally took that off the table. The Americans have accepted, and they are not even discussing it anymore. So this is not even an issue that will be discussed later on. The issue with later on, Dina, and why that is a victory for the Iranians and a defeat for Donald Trump and his administration, is that if you delay and you go back to negotiations, this is what the Americans were doing with Iran before all of this war started, before the Americans and the Israelis attacked Iran. They went back to point zero. They would be going back to that same point, and they would be sitting on a negotiations table, probably not even direct negotiations, through Oman or Pakistan or another country that's willing to play mediator, in order to discuss the same issues. They're back at the same point. They're back at the same place. So why would you have that war on Iran and kill the Iranian Supreme Leader Khamenei and kill all of these people, all of the destruction that has happened, and the damage that has happened to the world economy? And by the way, opening up Hormuz doesn't mean that everything is going to be fine immediately, because it will take time in order for the economy to heal and get back on track. So all of this damage that was done at an international level, what did it achieve? So that question is very difficult for the Americans to answer right now. So if this goes through, and it's leaked already, we already know the content of this supposed agreement that is about to be signed or reached, or the memorandum of understanding, because it's not a permanent agreement. It's more like a memorandum of understanding. Now, these questions are so difficult for the Americans to answer.
Right. A final question also is concerning the situation in Lebanon. At a time when this is, all these circumstances are taking place on unclear circumstances and blurred vision concerning the situation between the U.S. and Iran, there is also another a worse condition that is taking place inside Lebanon. Now, the strikes are containing inside Lebanon, and even Israel is escalating its strikes and attacks against Lebanese who are fleeing their villages. Now, the Palestinians have fled their places out of the bombardment, the brutal strikes, and this time it's the Lebanese. And the Israelis are advancing more every day with the advent of time. How do you assess the situation inside Lebanon?
Well, the situation on the border between Lebanon and Israel is very hot. Both sides are escalating. Hezbollah is now using rockets, not just the drones. And even today, the Israelis have warned 3 villages in the south to totally evacuate and move to the north. What that means is that the next thing that's going to happen, Israeli Air Force is going to destroy these villages totally. And the whole idea behind that Israel cannot afford a ceasefire in Lebanon. Mind you, they hate the ceasefire, any ceasefire or any agreement with Iran. And all of this plays very badly for Netanyahu and the upcoming elections in Israel. Netanyahu doesn't believe that he can actually afford any quiet on the Lebanese border right now. He really needs to come back with something to the Israeli people to say, I've achieved this or achieved that. Yesterday he was ridiculously stating that the Israeli military is going to cross the Litani River into the north, and many Israeli opposition leaders came out saying, what is this nonsense? This would be a massacre of our troops and doesn't make any sense. He's only saying that because of elections. The problem, Dina, is this. The problem is an internal Lebanese problem. Lebanon is divided today into 2 parties.
True.
A party that is extremely worried about sovereignty, and therefore they do not want to even give the impression that Iran has a role in Lebanon or can have a role in Lebanon. Why is this a problem? The Iranians, in their negotiations with the Americans, are demanding a true total ceasefire on the Lebanese-Israeli border. This is what the Iranians are demanding. The Lebanese government is rejecting this and saying, no, we will negotiate in order to reach a ceasefire with the Israelis. This is a very big problem. The other side, obviously led by Hezbollah, and all of those who do not trust Israel, are saying, what are you doing? We could reach a ceasefire through the Iranian-American negotiations. You're rejecting that under the pretext of sovereignty, yet you have absolutely no power to reach a ceasefire with Israel. The problem with ceasefire with Israel is that they're meaningless in principle. There was a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel, and the Israelis were continuously attacking in the south, and Hezbollah was not answering back, by the way, before all of this broke out. The only time it broke out is after the killing of Khamenei in Iran. But before that, the Israelis were attacking the south all the time, and Hezbollah was sitting there and watching. This is not the case today. But if there is a ceasefire again, then we will see what is going on in Gaza. Only today, the Israelis attacked a hospital in Gaza, killing the head anesthesia division of the hospital, and several other people. And this is a ceasefire. And Hamas is not attacking Israel. Israel is attacking Gaza on a daily basis, killing civilians. And this is to the Israelis a ceasefire. What does a ceasefire to the Israelis mean? The other party is not allowed to attack us, but we will attack them under the pretext of self-defense. So Israel has the right to preempt any possible anything that they suspect at any time that they like in order for them to protect themselves. This scenario means that there can never be a ceasefire achieved with Israel. It's not possible. Israel does not stop attacking the other side. And then Israel starts crying when the other sides retaliate. Like now, Israel is complaining that Hezbollah is breaking the ceasefire. But,
right.
And yes, with a straight face,
Right, at this note, would like to thank you so much, Mr. Ramzy Khoury, the journalist and writer. Thank you so much talking to Arab Affairs.